It was a meltdown for the ages. Alex Jones, the bombastic voice of conspiracy theories and self-proclaimed info warrior, lost it live on air. The object of his rage? A satirical article from The Onion, the famed purveyor of fake news, announcing its acquisition of Jones's media empire, InfoWars. Jones, never one to shy away from a rant, went on a tirade for the history books. He railed against imperial troops, supposedly seizing his company, saw the meddling hand of the deep state in the auction rules, and urged his loyal followers to flock to his new website. His voice, usually a booming torrent of outrage, cracked with a mixture of fury and fear. His eyes, often wide with a manic intensity, darted around the room as if searching for the hidden cameras of his imagined enemies. This wasn't just another conspiracy-fueled diatribe. This was a public unraveling, a man grappling with the realization that his carefully constructed world of paranoia was crumbling around him. And the catalyst for this spectacular implosion? A joke, a piece of satire. And that, perhaps, was the most unsettling part of all. To understand the magnitude of Jones's meltdown, one must first delve into the murky depths of InfoWars. Founded in 1999, the website quickly became a haven for fringe theories and unsubstantiated claims. From the Oklahoma bombing to the 9/11 attacks, Jones saw conspiracies lurking around every corner, and he wasn't afraid to shout about them. His signature style, a blend of bombastic pronouncements, rapid-fire delivery, and a healthy dose of paranoia, resonated with a growing audience disillusioned with mainstream media. He offered them an alternative narrative, one where shadowy elites controlled the world and truth was a carefully guarded secret. But Jones's brand of conspiracy-mongering wasn't without consequences. His outlandish claims about the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, where he asserted that the tragedy was a staged event with crisis actors, led to a wave of harassment against the grieving families of the victims. The lawsuits that followed, culminating in a $1.4 billion defamation judgment, pushed InfoWars to the brink of financial ruin. Which brings us back to that fateful day, when Jones, facing the prospect of losing everything, found himself the butt of a very public, very pointed joke. The Onion, known for its biting wit and uncanny ability to skewer the absurdities of modern life, had outdone itself. Their headline screamed, "The Onion acquires InfoWars at bankruptcy auction." The article, a masterpiece of deadpan humor, claimed that the satirical news site had purchased InfoWars for an undisclosed sum with the backing of the Sandy Hook families. It was a stroke of comedic genius, perfectly capturing the absurdity of Jones's predicament while simultaneously highlighting the very real harm his words had caused. The Onion's plans for InfoWars, which included turning it into a sober, fact-checked news source, dripped with irony, mocking Jones's own disregard for journalistic integrity. The article spread like wildfire across social media, garnering millions of views and sparking a wave of memes and humorous commentary. For many, it was a moment of catharsis, a chance to laugh at the man who had peddled in fear and misinformation for so long. But for Jones, it was a personal attack, a confirmation of his deepest fears about the globalist forces arrayed against him. He saw the humor, the satire, as just another layer of the conspiracy, a deliberate attempt to silence his truth. Jones's meltdown on Steve Bannon's show was a masterclass in paranoid delusion. He railed against the imperial troops he claimed were storming his studio, a clear reference to the U.S. regulators overseeing the bankruptcy proceedings. He accused the deep state of rigging the auction rules to prevent any of his allies from acquiring InfoWars, further feeding into his narrative of a shadowy cabal controlling the world from behind the scenes. His pronouncements grew increasingly erratic as he flitted between threats of legal action, pronouncements of defiance, and desperate pleas for his followers to join him on his new platform. Throughout his rant, one thing was clear: Jones truly believed his own delusions. In his mind, he wasn't a purveyor of misinformation, but a brave truth-teller battling against an oppressive system determined to silence him. And perhaps that's what made his meltdown so compelling, so unsettling. It was a glimpse into the mind of a man so consumed by his own paranoia that he could no longer distinguish between reality and fantasy. Section 5. The world reacts, laughter, outrage, and memes galore. The reaction to Jones's meltdown was swift and predictable. Social media erupted in a frenzy of memes, jokes, and gleeful mockery. The Onion, it seemed, had struck a nerve, exposing the absurdity at the heart of Jones's empire of misinformation. Many found humor in Jones's predicament, reveling in the irony of a man who had built his career on fear and paranoia being undone by a joke. The outpouring of laughter felt like a collective sigh of relief, a sign that perhaps the tide was turning against the tide of misinformation. But not everyone was laughing. Jones's most ardent supporters rallied to his defense, echoing his claims of a conspiracy and denouncing The Onion's article as a malicious attack on free speech. For them, the fact that The Onion's article was satire was irrelevant. They saw it as further proof that their worldview was under attack, that the mainstream media was in cahoots with the globalist elite to silence dissenting voices. The starkly different reactions to Jones's meltdown highlighted the growing chasm in our information ecosystem, where facts are malleable, truth is subjective, and satire can be weaponized to reinforce existing biases. Section 6. InfoWars and the Age of Disinformation, a Cautionary Tale. The saga of Alex Jones and The Onion's satirical takeover of InfoWars is more than just a bizarre news story. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of disinformation in the digital age. In an era where information spreads at lightning speed and anyone with an internet connection can become a publisher, the lines between fact and fiction have become increasingly blurred. Conspiracy theories, once relegated to the fringes of society, have found a mainstream audience fueled by social media algorithms and a growing distrust of traditional institutions. Jones, with his bombastic pronouncements and carefully cultivated air of paranoia, was a master at exploiting this new information landscape. He understood the power of fear, the allure of simple explanations for complex problems, and the human need to believe in something larger than oneself. But his brand of conspiracy mongering came at a steep cost. His lies about Sandy Hook caused immeasurable pain to the families of the victims, while his broader attacks on truth and reason eroded public trust and fueled a climate of fear and division. Section 7. Can satire combat conspiracy? A question for our times. The Onion's satirical acquisition of InfoWars raises a provocative question. Can satire combat conspiracy theories and misinformation? Can humor pierce the bubble of paranoia and make people question their beliefs? Satire, at its best, holds a mirror to society, exposing its hypocrisies and absurdities through humor and exaggeration. It can be a powerful tool for social commentary, prompting reflection and challenging the status quo. In the case of Alex Jones, The Onion's prank exposed the inherent ridiculousness of his worldview, highlighting the absurdity of his claims and the very real harm his words had caused. But whether satire can truly change minds is debatable. Humor is subjective, and what one person finds funny, another may find offensive or even threatening. Moreover, satire relies on a shared understanding of reality, a common ground that is increasingly elusive in our polarized information landscape. For those already steeped in conspiracy theories, satire can be easily dismissed as further proof of the conspiracy itself. Section 8. The Legacy of a Meltdown. What now for Alex Jones? In the aftermath of his meltdown, Alex Jones finds himself at a crossroads. His media empire in ruins, his reputation tarnished, he is a shadow of his former self. The lawsuit settlements have crippled him financially, while The Onion's satire has dealt a devastating blow to his credibility. He may continue to rant and rave on his new platform, but it's unlikely he'll ever regain the influence he once wielded. Yet, even in his downfall, Jones serves as a potent reminder of the dangers of unchecked misinformation. His story is a cautionary tale about the seductive power of conspiracy theories, the corrosive effects of unchecked paranoia, and the very real consequences of living in a world where truth itself is up for grabs. As for The Onion, they have moved on to their next target, their satirical arrows always aimed at the powerful and the absurd. But their prank on Alex Jones will be remembered as a defining moment in the battle against misinformation, a reminder that sometimes the best weapon against absurdity is laughter. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more trending news.